Alright, well, guys, here's a neat little 3500Z amp that was traded in. And at the moment it was traded in, it was working just fine. And a few hours later, this guy blew up on me. They're using a voltage doubler here. So we're going to rip all these caps out and all these ballast, all these load balancing resistors. We're going to pull all those out, put all new ones in, and hopefully this thing will fire back up and run right. See what happens. All right, I'm going to take a quick look at something here. This is a 3-500 ZG, GZ, whichever you want to say. Graphite 3500 tube. Okay. Pretty sturdy tube. It's a nice tube. Most guys use 100s, 120s, and 450s in these circuits, and that's fine. But these are kind of chintzy, even for a 120. This is what we're replacing with. Now, these are 150s, but still, that little 30 mic difference doesn't account for the difference in the beefiness of these caps. Okay. They're both 450 volt caps, but these these are Panasonic's, Schusters, whatever you want to call them. These are Samsungs. Now, you find these in a lot of microwaves and whatnot, stuff like that. It's real raw. They're not. They're not very good for this application. I don't think. I don't think they recover well. Everybody who plays with these tubes tells me that for this application, for snap-ins to use what I'm using. So that's what we're going to put in. We're going to put these in, and then we're going to replace these 1Ks. We're going to replace these with, we're going to take two of these 2.3s, I think, something roughly, and we're going to parallel two of them and double the wattage and bring it to the correct value, but it's going to be double the wattage going across the cap bank. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to take this board, we're going to put all these new caps on it, and we're going to flip it over and put all the resistors on it and put it back in, and we'll see what this thing does. Yeah, that's a big difference. So apparently these go out a lot from what I'm told. So see what happens. Here we go. All right, boys and girls. Um, if you saw the last video, you saw we rebuilt the high voltage rail, and at that point on this amp, I could still turn this on, and the transformer was not giving us any issues. So we rebuilt the high voltage rail, and upon final check of the transformer, it smoked. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, 3-500Z amps, 811As, 572Bs, all these big glass tubes. It's not in here right now. This has got a transformer that's got the filaments, which is 15 amps of like 5 volts, but 15 amps. And then they wind the high voltage right on top of it, all here in the same envelope, same case. Now this 15 amp winding is drawing constantly, making constant heat inside here. And it's baking the whole transformer. It's too much heat. Now, I'm sure the guy that had this got some time out of it. You know, we got the chimney out of it. It's pretty dusty. But, so you say, what do you do now? You know, the amp's got a freaking burnt transformer. And the reason it's burnt is because it was a poor design. If you go to look at an amp that's got, you know, these big tubes in it like this, and it doesn't have a separate filament and high voltage transformer, ergo what we're about to do to this thing, don't mess with it, because I believe it's doomed. It's programmed to fail. It's a bad design to put all that in this envelope. So what we're doing, this unit's going to become a 2-piece. And what we're going to do is, this is a single 3-500Z amp, and it's got a graphite tube. So we got a filament and high voltage transformer out of a Heathkit SB220, which is actually designed to run 2 3-500Z tubes. So we got plenty of current on standby. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the filament transformer in this box. We're going to take this big one out. We're going to put the filament transformer in here. And then we're going to have a buddy box. And the high voltage transformer is going to live in a separate box, which I haven't picked out what I'm going to throw it in yet. But that's what we're going to do. Now, this thing's going to have enough current at that point to run 2 tubes, which means there's none of this. Busted transformers, burnt up high voltage rails. I noticed when I took the caps out of this thing that 3 of them were shiny and clean, and they were the bad ones, and all the rest of them were real dusty. So I'm sure somebody serviced it or something. Something's goofy here. I don't know what, but I got an amp with a baked transformer. So ordinarily, a guy would just start partsing this thing out, because that transformer is not worth putting in this amp. It's going to fail again, number one. Number two, it's not cost effective. Not for what I got in the amp already. I'd just be better off to parts it out if I didn't have these transformers sitting around. So what we're going to do is it's going to be a 2-piece unit, and high voltage is going to live in a separate box. Filament's going to live in here, and we're going to resurrect this freaking box, and it's already got an owner. So I'm not even worried about it. We thought we were in trouble for a minute, and we're not out of the woods yet. You know, like that copycat's coming off. It's going to be a creepy cat when we're done. A 409 Radio's Creepy Cat 2-piece 3-500Z amp, because I'm going to go through the rest of this thing, and we're going to see what's fucked and unfuck it. Sorry about my language, but, you know, just for once, I'd like to get something without having to redo it. But, you know, it wasn't in the cards to happen this time, but we'll pull out of it, and we'll make something out of it. You know, we make chicken salad out of chicken poop all the time. So here we go, guys. Keep a watch out. 7:30s.